Steve Moran here with Senior Living Foresight, and I love talking about marketing in senior living. And today I'm talking to Dan Gemp, who is the CEO of Dreamscape Marketing. They're a digital marketing agency, a brand new partner with Senior Living Foresight, and they are really rocking the industry. So Dan, I actually would like to start by having you talk a little bit about you and Dreamscape marketing and what you do different in the senior living ecosystem.
Sure. And thanks for having me, and love being here. And I also love everything sales and marketing. Things have gotten, I'll say, unique, right, over the last year. But our position in the space as a digital marketing agency hasn't really had to evolve much, right? That recipe has always been there of producing good content, marketing transparently, and you'll connect with your consumers, right? Your potential move-ins. What has been accelerated is everything digital over the last year. And so in the space, we're coming in as an agency with about 15 years of experience in general healthcare, right? We've worked in mental health, other residential and medical kind of crossover industries. And in senior care, what we're finding is there is just as much demand as ever, and this is critical, but your consumer is looking to shop through your website. So you need stronger assessment tools. You need better data, better tracking, better analytics. And that's really where we've been putting all of our time and focus in the space, is we're building a better platform to market from for our clients and partners in the space.
So when you look at a senior living organization's website, and we won't name any names here because we don't want to hurt any feelings, but when you look at these websites, are there things that make you go, I can't believe they do that? And they could make sort of easy fixes?
Yeah, and I think a lot of it is you have to sit on the other side of the table, right? So a lot of executives and marketing directors, they're thinking about their brand and they're thinking about their programs, and they've got clever names for different types of communities and activities and such. And you're not using keywords that people type into Google. So you'll have a page called services. Well, so does the local Jiffy Lube, so your opportunity, you know what I mean, though?
I love that. That's a great example.
Yeah, and you might have a page called programs. Well, your local summer camp has programs, right? And so I think that a lot of people, they almost fail to use what I would consider the obvious, right? The common sense, rationale kind of retail marketing keywords. You have to build your content for someone that's just, an adult child that doesn't want to have to be making this decision, who's turning to Google for advice, and they're just going to type something in like senior living with memory care near me. And so your content, your imagery has to be compelling. It all needs to be real and custom, but you have to boil it down to what your prospective customers are looking for, right? These residents are looking for lifestyle. They're looking for comfort. It often gets misconstrued in the space as luxury. That's not necessarily what they're shopping for, right? It's just a necessary lifestyle change, just like a kid going off to college, right? A little bit of hospitality, right? Pictures of beds and food matter. And a lot of that stuff is just, I think it's obvious, but I find it lacking from, ballpark 75% of the websites in the space.
Well, I'll tell you one of my other pet peeves that I've seen a lot over the last few months is where people have COVID above the fold, and it's all COVID. Yeah. And I clearly you've got to have something about COVID on your page, but by the time somebody's gotten there, they're not going there to look about COVID in your building. They're looking for other things, and I just kind of bait my head.
We've got some data partners in the space that are backing up exactly what you're saying. It's not even in the top 5 the decision-making criteria, right? It still comes down to ability to pay, location, right? Timing. Yeah. So it's on the top 10 list, but it matters that you have COVID-safe protocols and cleaning and screening. That's about it. What we've actually seen, there's one group that we work with that does this, the canary in a coal mine scenario. They keep a counter at the top of their website, days since any staff or residents had positive tests from COVID. 27. So the entire community would be completely clear of COVID if no one has tested positive in 27 days. And I thought that was very clever. That would be a safe way of marketing that, right? It is salesy, but it's not COVID. It almost scares you less.
That is actually really, really brilliant. So I'm now watching this video and I'm thinking maybe there's some things I can do better. How do you kind of work with communities to do a better job on their websites?
So the good news in this industry is that there's a lot of heartfelt care for our elderly, and there's a lot of value in that. The bad news is a lot of the websites are also elderly at this stage, and so there is just in using the latest technologies, there's a lot to be gained. Google My Business profiles, probably 98% of the Google My Business profiles in this industry are not complete. You haven't answered the FAQ questions. You haven't updated your COVID-19 protocols, which is a new special field that Google added during all of this. Some of them don't even have accurate phone numbers, which is amazing to me. So it may be that this isn't how you used to sell, but Google My Business is free. You have to be using that adequately. The other one that I think is wildly overlooked is organic SEO. So that same reason I was saying that the industry is guilty of not using something a person would type into Google. They're not using the word memory care, right? On their website, they have a clever name for it. You need to optimize your website. There are technical best practices to make your website load faster, to make it rank higher, and to get that content performing. But it drives actual inbound phone calls and contact forms. Same thing, you can add assessment tools and chat tools to your website. You maybe haven't had to use them for years, but right now they're performing at an all-time high. We've got some partners in common with you, Steve, that are crushing it right now, like 30 and 40% increases in website conversions just because they added an assessment questionnaire to a website.
So I guess one of the things that you're saying, and I guess this is okay to say it, you may hate this and I may have to go back and re-record it, but we'll try it, is that you're really suggesting techniques that will allow you to maybe even in best practice or ideal circumstances, crush your relationship with a place for a mom?
So yeah, and conceptually what they're doing, right, that is an SEO and paid media organization. And so they're generating the exact same inquiry that you could generate on your own, but then to function as a business, they have to charge a markup. So, what they did is successfully for a decade, they've outranked all of you for your own names, for your own towns, for your own locations, and then they sell those inquiries back to you as leads, right? You can accomplish the exact same thing through your own website, and it should be much more cost effective. Our internal metric is about 31% less expensive to generate your own digital lead versus having to purchase one.
Cool. So we are about out of town. Dan, this has been so cool. We could do this for an hour. And in my view, this is all about changing the industry. We know that the industry allows older people to have the best possible quality of life, the best possible last chapters in their life. I love your passion, and we will drop a link in with this video about how to find Dreamscape Marketing, and we'd love to have you check them out. So Dan, thanks again for the time. Thanks for the conversation.
Thanks for having me, and thank you very sincerely to all of you for the work you're doing. I'm working remotely and far from anyone right now, and you're doing great work for great people, so thank you.